So tomorrow, March 2nd, 2025 is the Academy Awards and is the biggest awards of the movie industry and is where they hand out, awards and prizes such as best picture, best cinematography, all these different fancy things. What we're going to do today is I've actually gone and watched all 10 best picture nominees and I'm here to tell you which ones I think are going to win awards, which ones may not get awards this year, and we're just going to go through and talk about every single one of them. So here we go. I don't plan to go into any sort of like super in detail about every single one of the nominees. I want to give a kind of a brief synopsis to those who maybe haven't seen the movie, just so you know generally what it's about. But mainly this video is about going through the top 10 nominees, kind of predicting who's going to make the nominations, because tomorrow I will either be live streaming or I'll be making a video on the actual Academy Awards, and I want to see how many of these I get right. So starting in alphabetical order, we're just going to get it out of the way. Anora is going to be my prediction to win Best Picture. And I think there's actually a very, very good chance it only wins Best Picture and doesn't win any other awards. But anyway, that's besides the point. So Anora follows the life of this young lady who's named Anora, and she works as a dancer, and she meets this young Russian guy, who's hot, the new hot suave guy, and they fall in love, get married in Vegas. But it turns out that she never really knew this guy, and his parents are actually two big Russian mafia gangsters who basically want him to return home. And the rest of the movie follows, obviously their life together, as a couple, but then also her trying to kind of find out who not only she truly is, but who he is. And I think the movie has a lot of really interesting concepts to it that I actually did enjoy. And I very much want to point out as well, Mikey Madison, who portrays Honora, does a great job in this movie and probably would be my pick for winning Best Actress. But there is definitely a lot of momentum going towards another nominee who has been winning awards recently, smaller awards. But still, nonetheless, the momentum is going away from Mikey. And again, I don't want to, use that against her or anything. The cast of this movie is great. It has good soundtrack and stuff. Now, it is going to have quite a bit of content issues and stuff versus some of the other nominees, but I think this movie does have a lot to say about really how the rich and the poor kind of are very distant in society, right? And in the end, a lot of times the rich are still going to be the ones screwing the poor over in any situation. So I think Honora, while it has quite a few nominations and stuff, for me, making my picks, I think Honora is going to walk home with Best Picture, but I think, and again, has a good chance of winning some other ones. But for me, I think it's just going to walk away with Best Picture. And yeah, it's just that's Honora, I guess. So coming to the next Best Picture nominee, I want to talk about The Brutalist, which is my nomination to win Best Actor and Best Score. So in The Brutalist, Adrien Brody portrays Laszlo Toth, who is a immigrant Jew coming from post-war Europe over to the United States. And, he brings along this whole concept of brutalism. Working back home in Europe, Laszlo Toth was an architect, and brutalism is this whole concept of architecture and building structures and stuff that use a lot of very kind of right angles, a lot of sharp edges and stuff, and was a new building concept really to the United States at that point. And Laszlo Toth really created a movement within the United States of this new kind of building technique. This movie is really one of the more beautiful movies that I've seen this year, just in terms of cinematography and the way that actors are portrayed, and the buildings, especially the architecture, is absolutely beautiful in this movie. And it really does show kind of a glimpse into the life of not only just Jews and stuff coming from Europe, where they were obviously being hunted by the Germans and the Nazis, but they come here to the United States where they faced a lot of racism and stuff here, right, as well. And Adrien Brody does a fantastic job. I mean, this whole cast, Felicity Jones, Guy Pearce, Joel Owen. I mean, everyone in this movie is great. And I think, again, could be nominated for a lot of different awards, if not for The Scandal, you're gonna call it. So for those who don't know, the scandal that I'm talking about is basically that an editor or someone who worked on The Brutalist at some point came out on like a podcast or something like that and said, yeah, we use like very, very basic generative AI, right? And again, none of these reports have been confirmed true, which I think is very interesting. But the fact that it is supposedly from like either an editor or someone who worked on the movie, it is interesting. Okay. So the two main areas where this editor or whoever worked on the Brutalist kind of has come out and said that they used AI was two different parts. So the first part that they used was on the kind of hand sketches and stuff that are shown at the end of the movie. There's just some different building designs that are shown that supposedly AI drew that up. Okay. The second part is the part that frustrates me a little bit more. Was so Adrian Brody, again, who is the main character or who portrays the main character, supposedly his like Polish or like Eastern European accent wasn't quite accurate. Like supposedly some of his vowels, I guess, weren't like, I don't know, weren't, they didn't sound correctly to the accent that they needed. So they used AI to help with his accent. That's the one I don't like as much because, especially, I mean, I've already put him as my prediction to win Best Actor. But in my mind, if these reports were confirmed true, I would not want Adrian Brody to win Best Actor because, in my opinion, you should be winning the award for your performance that was unabated, not aided by any sort of, AI and stuff, no matter how easy it is. I think if you were up, right, on a stage somewhere, or you're on a set and you're acting, that is what you're getting nominated for, not after everything's been edited. Does that make sense? And I know obviously editing is involved in every movie and stuff, so I'm speaking very broadly, but that is the part that I wasn't super excited for. Again, like I said, he is still my pick. There are a lot of very other good nominees. I just think that, again, I'm not saying who I would like to win. This is my prediction to win because I think the Academy will kind of overlook the fact of the AI and give it to him, which again, very deservedly. He is a very, very great actor. But I just wanted to mention that here as we go through these movies that there is a bit of a scandal going on with this movie. Like I said, none of it's been like super confirmed. But anyway, that was The Brutalist, I guess. So next on the Academy train, we have A Complete Unknown. And my predictions for what awards it's going to win is none. I don't think this movie's going to win any awards. Now, I want to make this very, very clear. Should it win? I think it has a chance to win a couple. I think there's a good chance it wins. It may win one or two tomorrow, but it's going to have to squeak by some contenders, which I think have a better chance in it. It's going to have to be an upset pick. So we're just going to put it that way. My prediction, sadly, it walks away with probably no winners, but if it does, I will probably be pleasantly surprised. So, and for those who don't know, Complete Unknown is the Bob Dylan biopic starring Timothy Chalamet, and is honestly one of the movies that I loved a lot last year. I think got overhated a little bit. And not even just overhated. I think I felt like there was a lot of discourse on both sides. I saw a lot of people who were giving it very low ratings. And I saw some people who were like, "This is one of the greatest biopics ever created," right? So it's very one side or the other. But again, I think Timothy Chalamet puts on a incredible performance. Is also nominated for Best Actor, but I don't think is going to squeeze by Adrian Brody or a couple of the nominees. I think Chalamet, Ding Dong, Timothy Chalamet. Oh my gosh, if I can talk. I think has a very, very good chance to win. It did win at the SAG Awards, the Screen Actor Guilds Awards, which is a different award show. I think Monica Barbaro as well, I think has a very, very good chance to win Best Supporting Actress. But again, right now momentum is going towards another actress, so I'm going to give it to her. But yeah, so right now, sadly, I think A Complete Unknown is most likely going to walk away with no awards. Again, not saying that it's a bad movie. It's obviously been nominated, so it is, it is up there. But yeah, I really did enjoy this movie. And I would love for it to win at least one. I would love for it to win at least one. In what category, I don't know. Because again, like I said, it would probably be upsetting some other pick. But yeah, so A Complete Unknown. Sadly, probably no awards. So next on the list, we have Conclave, which is my pick to win Best Adapted Screenplay as well as Editing. This movie is fascinating on so many different levels. It's made by Edward Berger, who does a lot of these kind of very methodical type movies, and this movie was so very interesting. I think is one of the sleeper hits of the year. Like it did pretty well, especially on and not just in the theaters, but also on streaming and stuff as well. That a lot of people started watching this movie because it had a very limited release, seemingly. But it is about how the Pope, it passes away, and it is about this process of all the different cardinals and bishops and stuff from all the different areas around the world having to come to the Vatican so they can vote on the next Pope. And it is a political drama. I mean, you wouldn't think it's political, but I mean, if you think about the church and stuff, there's so many different dynamics of stuff going on. I think it's just a very good kind of procedural thriller-ish type movie. And like I said, I think wins best adapted screenplay. Editing is fantastic in this movie, the way that it is cut up and stuff. I will say this, because I did not do a full review on it. There is a very interesting twist at the end that I'm still not 100% on board with. Um, I'm not going to spoil it, but like I said, it is a very odd ending that I still don't quite agree with, but I still think doesn't necessarily take away from the movie too much as a whole. I still think it is very good. I also want to make a quick little note here that again, Ray Fiennes is just an absolutely incredible actor. I think we need to talk about him more when it comes to not just like best actor currently working, but I think like if we want to talk about an actor who has just had a fundamental impact on an era of film. I mean, I'm just saying, I not only just all the way back from the Harry Potter movies, right? But if you just look at his filmography, every single year he's had these movies which has either been nominated or has been highly awarded and things like that. So I think Ray Fiennes needs to be again in that conversation. He does a fantastic job. Stanley Tucci is also great. John Lithgow, by the way, from what I know, more of a kind of comedy actor, I guess. Fantastic job. Again, serious drama movie, does a great job. So I think my prediction is that Conclave will walk away with 2 Academy Awards. It may drop those 2. There's a very good chance that it goes to other ones as well. But I think at minimum, I think it's going to win at least 1. For what? Probably one of the 2 categories I gave you. But it is nominated in others, so I don't know. So, coming up next on the list, we have Dune 2, which is my pick for best cinematography, production design, sound, and visual effects. And as much as you might be saying, to yourself, Isaiah, like you gave Dune 2 4 Academy, you're predicting that it's going to win 4 Academy Awards. That's great. It should win more. It should win all of them. Like every award should go to Dune 2. Like every award. But in all seriousness, if you have not seen my top 10 movies of the year list, Dune 2 was my favorite movie from 2024. And I think it deserves to win, like, again, not jokingly, every award. The fact that, it is nominated for Best Picture, but it's like one of the lowest chances of probably winning is a cardinal sin, speaking of Conclave again. I think Timothée Chalamet should have got nominated again for Best Actor. The fact that Denis Villeneuve has now been basically snubbed from Best Director for both Dune movies. This is an absolute it is mind blowing to me. And again, maybe I'm wrong, and that someone correct me in the comment section. But again, the fact that he has just not been nominated is so crazy to me because of not only just how well these movies do. I'm pretty sure Dune 2 did $1 billion. Like, maybe it didn't. I don't know. Maybe it didn't, but it made a lot of money, right? It was like the talk of the town when it came out. Like people were comparing this to the Lord of the Rings. They were saying that this was this generation's Lord of the Rings, and the fact that again it is really again, and no offense to visual effects and all the other Oscars, it's not going to win any of the major ones, right? Best director, best movie, best actor, best actress, things like that, right? It is going to get snubbed from all of that, and I think it is. I don't know. I the movie part of me, again, the fan part of me, just aches for this so bad, dude. So, for those who don't know what Dune 2 is about, it is a follow up from the previous Dune movie and basically follows the life of Paul Atreides, the main character, again portrayed by Timothée Chalamet, as he kind of leads this group against, as there's a bunch of different factions and stuff kind of on this world. They're all fighting over different resources. and he's like the chosen one to like lead his people out of freedom, right? It's kind of biblical, I guess, in that sense, but it is just an epic movie. It is so good. The only thing I can tell you to go do is just go watch the movie. I mean, it is streaming on Netflix and HBO and stuff like that. So go, or Max, I guess. And so go watch the movie. Again, I think it should win basically every award. I keep harping on that, but it is one of those things where I think the Academy, it just, this genre of movie, it just doesn't like as much, to be honest, right? It's a lot of a lot of superhero movies, right? All the Marvel movies, right? Like the only awards that they ever won was like maybe visual effects and stuff, right? You never saw the Avengers movie getting nominated for Best Picture, even though theoretically, you know, money wise, it might have been like the highest, grossing movie that year. Doesn't really matter though. So it's one of those things where I think this is just one of those ones that it's going to get the nomination, but it's just not going to win, which is really sad because, again, in my opinion, Dune 2 should win all the Dune awards, every award ever. So next on the list, we have Amelia Perez, which is my pick to win Best Supporting Actress as well as Best Original Song. So this movie, if you've seen a couple other videos and stuff that I've gone through, and again, spoiler alert, will probably be on my worst movie of 2024. It is not great. This movie is not great. I'm not going to just like completely like poop on this movie. I think it's bad. I think it's really, really bad. It's probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I just, like I said, I just don't like that it's even nominated in these. Now, again, you're probably asking yourself, you said you don't like why that the movie's even nominated. Why are you giving it 2 awards? Because again, I'm predicting what the Academy is going to give this movie, and there's a lot of momentum right now towards Zoe Saldana winning Best Supporting Actress. Again, she has won a couple of kind of minor awards and stuff for her role already in this movie. Again, is it the pick that I want to win Best Supporting Actress? No, I think it should go to Monica Barbaro, by the way. But I think Zoe Saldana, again, great actress. Just it's a movie that I did not find interesting in any degree. And let's be honest with you, probably 95% of this population who could vote is also going to not like this movie at all. Like, it is one of the worst rated movies, I think, from this year. Like, legitimately. And so for those of you who don't know, I will give a quick brief synopsis. Amelia Perez is basically about this Mexican war cartel drug, leader or whatever, who comes to Zoe Saldana's character, and basically says, "Hey, I'm a dude, but I would like a sex change to be a woman." Okay. And the whole movie is basically about, this cartel leader basically, he fakes his own death, right? And then he can become a woman and he can like live his new life. The whole thing with this movie that I have a problem with is not, I mean, like I said, I don't like the subject matter at all. But first of all, this movie is also just not good. Like if it was bad content, but it was like produced well, that would be one thing. This is bad content that is also just produced badly, right? And it's not even just my opinion, right? That just doesn't like this movie. And again, I just want to reiterate, it's not just me that has a problem with this movie. Again, the subject matter is it's a Mexican cartel leader, right, who wants this gender change. If you look online about this movie, and especially if you are someone from Hispanic heritage, you're going to see, especially people from Mexico, they have flooded the social media chains and just basically said, we condemn this movie. This is not us, right? I want to make this very clear. It is a Mexican based movie, I guess, right? That was filmed in France by a French director. Okay. And what Mexican people are saying is again, irregardless of, the politics and stuff involved, like, why isn't this movie employing more Mexican actors, right? It's employing mostly Americans or like even French actors for, again, a Mexican movie. And it's also painting all Mexicans to look like we're all drug owners and cartel leaders and stuff, right? Like it's not, again, it's just me as a white man who doesn't like this movie. It is like there's a whole other group of people, which I want to make that very, very clear that, like I said, even though I may not prefer this movie, I'm still giving it the prediction that it's going to win 2 Oscar nominations. But I just wanted to talk about that real quick because it is very interesting that this movie, by the way, is the like one of the highest like nominated movies of all time, right? And in my opinion, is going to win maybe 2, right? And let's be honest, all the predictions and stuff. If you look online right now, they're also saying that this movie may win 1, maybe 2 awards. Like it is very very slim chance that it wins any sort of big nomination. So I just want to make that point here. Emilia Perez, not a good movie. It's nominated for like 12 Oscar or 12 Academy Awards. I don't know. Um, yeah, it's the 6th movie we're going to talk about. So next on the list we have I'm Still Here, which is my pick to win Best International Feature. So I'm Still Here is actually one of my favorite movies from last year that I was not able to include on my top 2024 list because I hadn't seen it at the time. It was very, very limited release. Had to actually go ways to a theater like recently to go see this finally. And yeah, I absolutely love this movie so much. It is my opinion, like I said, is going to win Best International Feature, but I think I really do think it should win Best Actress for Fernanda Torres. She does a phenomenal job in this movie. And yeah, I think it should win more awards than what it's nominated for. And again, just to give a brief summary, I'm Still Here basically follows, it's set in the early 1970s in Brazil, where there's a lot of military coups and stuff going on, and this follows the story of this one family, right, the Pavia family, as they kind of live their life in Brazil. They're a very happy family. They've got like 5 or 6 kids, and one day the dad is taken away by the government for questioning, right, and never shows up. Never shows back home, right? And it's about the mom, who's again portrayed by Fernanda Torres, and it's about her journey as she tries to kind of guide her kids through this struggle, and really just like she's being the parent, and it is a phenomenal piece. And again, it's based on a true story, which they show the scenes from the movies, and then at the end they show like the actual photographs and stuff of the real family, and it I'll be honest, it made me really really sad. Again, phenomenal movie, just showing you like what it was like to be in that 1970s Brazil. It was horrible. And I think, like I said in the previous section, I would love for her to win Best Actress. There's a lot of other awards that it's either nominated for or I think should have been nominated for. But right now I'm gonna give it just that one win. But I will say this as like the antidote. Other than Dune 2, this would be my pick to win Best Picture, just because it's my second favorite movie on the list. So I'm Still Here. So next on the list we have Nickel Boys, which unfortunately I think is not going to win any awards this season. So Nickel Boys follows the story of these 2 young teenagers, or mainly these 2 young kids, who are attending Nickel Academy, which is based on the real Dozier School for Reform in Florida. And again, based on a true story, the actual school was shut down in like 2011 because there was evidence again, and it was proven that the school had basically been mistreating these boys. They had actually murdered a bunch of boys over the years. Like there were mass graves like at the back of the school that had been covered up and stuff like that. It was a bunch of just really really horrible stuff that had been happening to these boys over 30 years and stuff, of just these waves of kids that had kept coming into the school. The really interesting thing about this movie is that it is shot basically from a first person's perspective, which if you don't know what that is, it's basically what you see looking out of your eyes, right? So you'll be like talking as the person who's talking, and you'll see their hands and stuff, in front, almost like, like I said, you're looking through their eyes. And I love it. I think it works really, really, really well. I think there are some struggles. For example, I think when you're looking through the person's eyes, I think it allows you to kind of see what they see. However, I think from an audience perspective, right, especially when there's a large group of people talking, right, in a scene, and you keep switching back and forth between their first person's perspectives, I think it's a little hard at times to kind of be able to like just see the world at large. You can see it through their eyes, but you can't just see a very wide glimpse of just all of them interacting together. Again, I like the movie. I thought it was very, very good. I just think some of the choices and stuff in terms of like editing and the way that the time jumps are just weren't my favorite overall. Great acting job, very, very unique story. But unfortunately, I'm not going to pick it to win anything tomorrow. But would not be surprised if it doesn't win, a random award or something like that. So yeah. Coming up next, we have The Substance, which is my pick to win Best Actress for Demi Moore and win makeup and hairstyling. So here we have The Substance, which I'll be honest is probably one of the grossest movies I've seen in a little while. I'll explain here in a second. Basically, The Substance is about this Demi Moore portrays this actress and stuff who is kind of at the end of her career, right? And she kind of overhears some conversations that she's really just gonna be fired from her show, right? She's too old, she's starting her skin's wrinkled and stuff like that, right? And people don't find her attractive anymore. And basically the network is just gonna shut her down, right? However, she comes across this thing that, she hears about this substance, right? It's basically something you inject into yourself. And this is the gross part, is basically you birth a new human being, like a clone of yourself, right? And that clone of yourself is young, beautiful, has all really the same characteristics as you, and is really just you, but again is a younger clone of you. The trick is that you each basically live your life for 1 week at a time, right? And that's about as far as I want to go. It is a very, very interesting concept because it dives into the ideas that not just it's mainly women, but just people in general, right, in society, that we always consider young things to be beautiful, right? And is this kind of this constant pressure from society that not just women again, but mostly that you have to kind of upkeep your looks and stuff, otherwise you're going to go out of style, right? um it's a really, really interesting concept. There's some weird visual effects in this movie that I love, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not a huge horror person, and just seeing like just these weird, gross scenes of like the horror and like the body twisting and different things and stuff like that, it was just not my favorite. I am picking it, like I said, to win a couple different awards. Specifically Demi Moore for Best Actress. I think she has a very, very good shot at winning it. And again, I think it could go to a couple other people, but right now, because she's won a couple other smaller awards, the momentum is going her way. So for right now, I'm going to give it to her. And again, for the hair makeup and styling, that Academy Award, the movie grossed me out, which I think honestly is just a kudos to the movie, because that's how realistic everything looked, just how gross and wet and stuff, right? So but yeah, I'm right now going to put The Substance to win those two different awards. It could win more, it could win less, I don't know, but I think guarantee at least one somewhere. And finishing the list, the last one on the Best Picture nominees is Wicked, which is my opinion going to win Best Costume Design. Wicked's in one of those weird positions where, like I said, I'm giving it the one Academy Award if from my vote, I guess, or whatever, or my prediction of who's going to win. But it could honestly finish the night up with like maybe 3 wins. It's one of those ones where it's based off the original Broadway play, which follows the story of Alphaba and Galinda as they become the evil witch of the West and the good witch of the West, or whatever, or Galinda the good. They become the main characters of the Wizard of Oz, right? And it follows that kind of prequel storyline. And I think it does a good job. Again, I'm just not the biggest musical fan just generally. I did like the production design and the costumes, which I think it has a good shot at potentially winning. But yeah, like I said, um, right now I'm just gonna give it that one award. I think Ariana Grande does a great job. I think Cynthia Erivo, also, again, I've never seen the Broadway play, but to my knowledge and from what I've seen, does a phenomenal job of like re-portraying that character. So for right now, I'm going to give Wicked the win for the one category, and I think that's probably where it will finish for the night. So that is all 10 of the Best Picture nominees. And again, I went by the awards that I think they're going to win tomorrow, not necessarily by the awards that I would like them to win tomorrow. Because again, jokingly, I think Dune 2 should win all of the awards. But I also want, like, I'm Still Here to win a lot more awards than it probably will. Emilia Perez has a very good chance of winning a lot of awards. I don't really want it to win that many. But again, like I said, it's all personal preference. But yeah, like I said, I think undoubtedly Dune 2 and I'm Still Here are my favorite two movies that have been nominated this year. So it's going to be very interesting to see, kind of with the couple of different controversies with different movies and stuff, of how that all plays out in the big picture tomorrow for the Academy Awards. So I'm putting up here, these are my final rankings, and or not rankings, my predictions of who's going to all win tomorrow. How correct am I going to be? Don't know. I could be very wrong. It could be very right. So I guess we'll find out tomorrow. So, all right. Until then, I'll see you guys.